The criminal probe into Manchester United and England forward Mason Greenwood was dropped a month ago, and the broader public is still unsure about his status at Old Trafford. Greenwood, who's now 21, has not appeared for United since January 2022 when he was arrested. He was then the subject of a police investigation, but the Crown Prosecution Service dropped charges against him in early February for attempted assault causing actual bodily harm and controlling and coercive behaviour. All three charges involved the same complainant, who is not named in this because she's entitled to anonymity for life under UK law. The CPS stated that a combination of the withdrawal of key witnesses and new material that came to light meant there was no longer a realistic prospect of conviction when the charges were dropped. While the criminal case is closed, Greenwood's status as a United player remains uncertain. The club is presently undertaking its own inquiry in order to create as complete a picture as possible of the events that led to a complaint being filed against him last year. A month after the inquiry began, the option of reintroducing Greenwood to the club's first team squad as part of a possible phased return to football remains firmly under consideration, but club sources insist no decision has yet been made, and it is one of several options, including a parting of ways, that remain viable. If Greenwood remains, United will most likely proceed in phases, taking into consideration the sentiment of fan organisations, sponsors and the women's squad at various levels. It would include urging Greenwood to seek counselling or treatment before embarking on a more extensive rehabilitation programme. It has also been proposed that such a strategy could include subjecting Greenwood to a broadcast appearance in which he is questioned about the events that led up to this point. According to the sources, if United chooses to bring Greenwood back, they will try to portray him as a young man who has made errors and is sorry for his actions, whilst also thinking that they have a duty to help rehabilitate the player who has been on the club's books since the age of 6. According to United sources, they would only disclose the player in this manner if they believe it is the reality based on their internal findings. The Sun newspaper claimed last weekend that Greenwood is about to become a parent after his partner became pregnant. This follows previous reports in the same newspaper that Greenwood has reached out to United teammates, including a meeting with former academy players and social media messages sent to senior United players, all of which give the impression that Greenwood is attempting to bring more stability to his life. While Manchester United refused to respond officially, club sources maintained that no active discussions with broadcasters are taking place. They also stated that this is too soon to determine if the club is leaning one way or the other at this time because the process is still continuing. As a result, the possibility of severing connections persists. They also stated that any final choice made in light of the results will be made by the club's co-owner Joe Glazer and chief executive Richard Arnold. This is true only as long as United is owned by the Glazer family, with the club presently contemplating proposals from Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos company and Sheikh Jassim of Qatar, in addition to minority investment or alternative funding methods also being an option. Given the volatility of the previous year, United is aware of the brittleness of any recovery strategy for Greenwood. Many members of their organisation are also conscious that restoring the individual to their previous setup may be detrimental to their image. United boss Erik Ten Hag has not spoken publicly about Greenwood, except when asked for his thoughts in a press briefing and referring to the club's statement, but he has had at least one discussion with the player. Ten Hag is in an incredibly powerful situation at Old Trafford after changing the club's prospects since taking over last summer, and Arnold and Glazer will consider his viewpoint. Ten Hag's point of view will be considered, as will the head of football John Murtaugh's, but this is essentially a decision that will require approval from the top. At the moment, the probe is being conducted by a select group of top United officials, with Arnold supervising but not actively participating in talks that include the club's legal advisors. Although United was unable to carry out any internal processes while Greenwood was under criminal investigation, the club did not totally shut off contact with the player's agents during that time. For example, during Greenwood's bail hearing at Manchester Magistrates Courts, the club sent security staff to help his parents. Furthermore, when the Sun ran a story about a breach of bail terms, United was notified in advance, and the club ensured that the information reached the player's family, who would have been called by the newspaper as a courtesy. On October the 17th, the accuser made accusations against Greenwood following an ABE, an interview aimed at achieving the best evidence, according to a hearing at Manchester and Salford Magistrates Court. This is a videotaped interview with a vulnerable or intimidated witness, with the film meant to be used as proof in court at a later point. However, the accuser later issued a retraction of the statement. Greenwood, whose United contract runs until the summer of 2025 with the option of a further year's extension, has not commented publicly since he issued a short statement when the CPS dropped the charges, which read, "I am relieved this matter is now over, and I would like to thank my family, my loved ones and friends for the support. There will be no further comment at this time."